Channel 7, your station for the Olympics.
ABC Sports and the Olympics, a long-standing partnership. Again, at the Winter Games of Calgary, the Olympic tradition continues.
ABC Sports presents in its 27th season, the Professional Bowlers Tour. This afternoon, live from the Forum Bowl in Grand Prairie, Texas, it's the $150,000 Quaker State Open. Here's today's field, vying for the $27,000 first prize. In fifth place from St. Louis, Steve Wonderlic. In fourth place, the defending Quaker State Open champion, Brian Voss. In third place, Joe Girardi, winner of last week's AC Delco Classic. Qualifying in second place, the all-time PBA money winner, Mark Roth. And our tournament leader, looking for his first PBA title, Bob Benoit. That's our field for the Quaker State Open. There it is, the Forum Bowl. The bowling lanes with chandeliers. We're happy to be back here for the 12th consecutive finals of the $150,000 Quaker State Open. And behind me, ladies and gentlemen, the friendliest and most enthusiastic bowling television crowd that we experience in all of our 16 stops across the country. The friendly folks of Grand Prairie. Today, along with you, they'll watch 5 champions whose titles total 45. Speaking of titles, on ABC's Wide World of Sports, immediately following the Professional Bowlers Tour telecast, we'll go to the Bud Light Ironman Triathlon World Championship. Over 1,500 competitors from 44 countries, 49 states, in one day, going a total of 140 miles. That's on Wide World. We'll also announce the athlete of the week. Speaking of athletes, I'm now going to flip the ABC microphone over to 3, led off by my colleague, Bo Burton.
Thank you, Chris. A great group of athletes we do have in the top 5 this week, and 2 of the outstanding ones were off to a very hot start this year, 1988, Joe Girardi and Mark Roth. First, you, Joe, what's been the catalyst for your real hot start in your win last week here in 1988?
Well, Bo, as the general public knows now, my wife is expecting twins, and they're pretty expensive. And the second reason is I have a new sponsor, Richard Altman. I'm trying to prove to him that I'm still capable of winning out here. And the third reason is I just like a lot of money.
Mark, Joey's your roommate. Last week, you've started with hot season, but you've had that before. Joey's your roommate, and he whipped you last week, cost you about $5,000. You seem like a pretty nice guy.
Not really, Bo. I didn't bowl that well against him, and maybe this week tides will turn.
Well, you might meet him. One other question. Do you have room for one other guy in your room?
There is no room for any more roommates.
All right, Chris, 2 of the best in the second and third matches. Right now, we're off to the first match with Brian Voss and Steve Wonderlic.
Okay, back here now at our announced position before a capacity crowd applauding, a lot of which you will hear today, and they applaud for Steve Wonderlic, 29-year-old professional from St. Louis, ABC Masters champion, yet he has not experienced winning his first PBA singles title. Second and third a lot. And a beautiful start by Steve Wonderlic. 6-footer, 165 pounds, and the cover boy, Brian Voss, the defending champion, having won the Quaker State title a year ago right here at the Forum Bowl. He's from Tacoma, Washington. Last year, the 6th leading money winner. Stylish ball, Wonderlic and Voss.
You're right, Chris. 2 of the players that really are very conventional, have textbook styles. Brian Voss, Steve Wonderlic start the ball in an ideal position, set themselves up very well. Brian Voss, the 4-step delivery. Looking down at the approach to pick his proper starting position on the approach, he's playing a line somewhere between the first and second arrows.
Last year winning 2 titles, including this one. 2 seconds as well. left with solid 10 on the left lane as we get another profile look here.
Ideal style. 4-step delivery, push away out with the first step, shoulder high backswing, wrist in a nice flat position, left shoulder back, deep knee bend, good extension, just a bad break left, a solid 10.
Very good. Continuing to mark here in our very first match, and if you just join us, you're in early on our telecast. The winner of this to meet Joe Girardi, then the great Mark Roth, will be followed by Bob Benoit, a former resident of Dallas, now bowling out of Topeka, Kansas, a non-winner. So here is Wonderlic now. He has a doubles title to his credit, along with that ABC Masters title. Coming up high, bending at the end and leaving the 6-7-10, Nelson.
Right, Chris, just a little bit soft with the ball. He has that 4.5-step delivery. Wonderlic eyes the target, has a style very similar to Voss's, goes through the ball, doesn't quite throw it hard enough, and he's now quickly up on the approach with another harder ball to shoot the 6-7-10 split.
Beautifully done. And if that doesn't get the adrenaline pump going, nothing will. Just textbook.
Ideal shot. Wonderlic, who just drilled this new bowling ball for the telecast. Chris, as he slides the 6 over in the 7, the ball taking out the 10, he drilled a very low surface friction bowling ball with what we call a conventional grip. The next time he picks it up, as you see him with his fingertip grip with his urethane bowling ball in the left lane, the other ball to help make spares.
That's really as brilliant as we've seen Steve look in the first three frames of any of his 19 television appearances that we have had him on. Brian Voss is in his 18th television appearance. Boy, we're getting experienced people this year.
No doubt. I think the real good players are starting to separate themselves from the pack. We're seeing it this year.
Nope. Brian Voss waiting at the line, hoping that the 10 would go, giving him 39 through the second, and let's watch him shoot another 10 pins spare.
The action of the head pin. Watch it. The head pin goes to the left sideboard. See it hit the sideboard, which is a fiberglass sideboard, comes rolling back across the lane, almost knocks out the 10. Voss quickly up to convert the spare.
So now he is showing you how to do it on our championship pair here. Brian only crossed it in 2 games during the competition and averaged 202. His high game this week was 258.
Very steady player. I had the good opportunity to do about 20 exhibitions with Brian Voss 2 years ago. He averaged better than 225 in those 20 different houses. Definitely a type of player can adjust to all conditions.
And there's his second strike of the afternoon on our very first head-to-head match live on ABC. We'll return after this.
You are about to see the smartest oil change you can make. Introducing a new Quaker State motor oil. Now Quaker State has a revolutionary formula called QSX. QSX fights engine choking sludge better than other leading oils to keep oil flowing to vital engine parts. For a cleaner, longer-lasting engine, change your oil. Really change your oil to new Quaker State with QSX, the smartest oil change you can make.
Hold it. Ho, ho, ho. So you're going to finally meet Cindy, huh? Tonight. Good. So first impressions are very important. I think. Okay. Now, imagine. Lights are low, the music's soft. Knock the door opens up. Somebody's out there doing this.
What is it? She's got dandruff?
No, you have dandruff.
No.
Yes, you
I
do.
shampoo every day.
You shampoo your brains out with regular shampoo. Wouldn't matter.
Brains out?
Yeah, well, so use that.
Head and Shoulders? Works for me, my friend. But you don't have dandruff.
Exactamundo.
Head and Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Here in the finals of the Quaker State Open, you're looking at the Firestone Masters and United States Open champion, Stafford Joe Girardi. He will meet the winner of our first match, which is nearing the halfway point between this man from St. Louis, Steve Wonderlic, and his opponent, Brian Voss. Wonderlic leading by 1 can increase it. Now he leads by 11. Good mixing action on that bowling ball.
Wonderlic with the pro bowler's favorite shot when he can go a little bit high, trip the 4-pin out with a 2-pin. You can bet that'll loosen them up because the pros will carry the light hit or the swisher hit a high percentage, but with that powerful ball, often they get splits when they go up near the nose. Now Wonderlic leads by 11, coming up on the left-hand lane, which hooks about 3 boards more than the right-hand lane.
Steve's having a wonderful game. A strike, a conversion, 6, 7, 10, and now a 3-bagger. The winner, 27.
27, 14, as you see, third, and $1,000 difference in this match.
Now Brian Voss, and a reminder of our college basketball doubleheader tomorrow: Michigan, Indiana, Temple, Las Vegas, University. Okay, Brian Voss with a double, trailing by 11. Earlier we had a chance to ask him about making the final 24 here where he's defending.
Well, Thursday morning was my last 6 games of qualifying. I didn't do quite so well. They estimated that it would take about 270 over to make it. I had 252. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I did. I bowled well in match play. I'd like to defend my title.
And 270 means his pin's above 200 average for 18 games. He just snuck in. He's maximizing his opportunity.
And now he's cut the lead to 1 pin again. What a wonderful first match here in the Quaker State Open. Attended by a capacity crowd, but here at the Forum Lanes, they never have enough room. We're in Grand Prairie, Texas, another of the friendly suburbs of the Big D. 3-bagger going, shooting in the 6th frame. A man that you've known since he was a child.
Just about, Chris. A great practicer. Steve Wonderlic is just a dedicated professional, excellent high school athlete. Played third base at in the Parkway School District is his wife, Cindy Wonderlic, who he met while going to the University of Missouri. She's also a St. Louis girl. Wonderlic, excellent high school baseball player, as I said, at Parkway Schools District, and just a tremendous pro bowler. Leads by 11, has 4 in a row, can extend to 21 with another.
5-bagger for the man looking for the PBA elusive title. Okay, we'll be back.
In these days of self-service gas stations, computerized banking, and understaffed stores, it seems that no one has the time for personal service anymore. Well, at True Value Hardware stores, we haven't forgotten that we're working for you. And whenever you have a question or a problem with a do-it-yourself project, we'll do our very best to help. So the next time someone wonders where personal service has gone, you tell them it's still hard at work. Right in here. True Value, more than just a name. It's our way of doing business.
Old soldiers never die, but neglected batteries do. That's why I feel better with a Delco battery under the hood. Sealed tight, maintenance-free. With plenty of startup power to handle cold mountain weekends.
Precision AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
We old soldiers spend our time on live trout, not dead batteries. For the AC Delco retailer nearest you, just give me a call at 1-800-AC-DELCO.
When that pork chop suey hits you like a freight train and you're churning out of control, signal the bubbles of extra-strength Alka-Seltzer, because speed is what you need to get your stomach and head back on track again fast.
Alka-Seltzer to the rescue.
Over 140 miles of pushing the body to the wall. The Bud Light Ironman Triathlon World Championship on BBC's Wide World of Sports. Next.
You're looking at the leader of our first game from St. Louis, Steve Wonderlic. He has strung 5 in his match against the defending champion of the Quaker State Open, Brian Voss. But Brian has 3 in a row. Shooting in the 7th frame, can cut the lead to 11 with a strike here. High-scoring first match. Nelson?
No doubt, Chris. 39 and 40, the championship pair. As you watch the action of the head pin as it drives out the 2, 4, and 5s. The head pin goes to the sideboard, takes out the 4 pin. The 4 drives the 5 out. The head comes back, does the 7. That's the reason you put lift on the bowling ball, is to energize those bowling pins. And Chris, 39 and 40 here at Forum Lanes has always been a fairly nice championship pair. The players have to make good shots. The left lane hooks, as we said, about 3 boards more, but the carry of the pins has been great.
Extremely high hit. Brian Voss gets the break, and now a 1-pin difference.
Watch the action of the 2 pin, Chris, as it gets between the 4 and 7 pins. This is just a bowler's delight when a pro can carry hit that. See that 2 pins up there? It drives out the 4 and 7s. Right now, both players have strung 5 strikes in a row.
That's a Frank Esposito carry, right? Another one.
When you see Wonderlic go to one leg, as you watch Brian Voss, he says, oh my goodness, it could be my day. But there's a man coming up on lane 39 that has something else to say about it. Steve Wonderlic started with a strike, left a 6, 7, 10 split in the second frame, which he converted, has now strung 6 strikes in a row, leads by 11, 9th frame.
One more.
10-pin on the left lane. Round of applause. What a wonderful 8 frames for this man.
Steve, he says one more. You could hear it all the way up in the announce booth. Solid 10. With a conversion here, he would maintain that 10-pin lead, but Voss will have something to say about that when he comes up in the 9th.
Stuck at the line, but nevertheless, covers the 10. What a game. Opened with a strike, converted the 6, 7, 10. Strikes through 8, a spare in the 9th. For Wonderlic and bachelor Brian Voss. Really a neat guy. 5'10", 160 pounds, 29-year-old from Tacoma. Former All-Army champion.
Can even the match with a strike here in the 9th frame.
You know, they win these PBA tournaments from all positions. Here at Forum Lane, no one has ever won from the number 5 spot here.
And Chris, I think that the winner of this match, as you see the pinfall of Brian Voss there in the 9th frame to even the match, the winner of this match is going to be very tough on through the next 1 hour. And as we see Voss come up in the 10th, the match all even. Voss has been involved in 3 tie matches in the championship round in his career. He won his very first title when he won a tie match roll-off against Pete McCordick, 39-29 in 1983. So he's no beginner at this part of the game.
Oh! Last week we had one of those sneaky trippings of a 4, and here we have it again today.
Good point, Chris. This has been the hit that's been the key hit. Last week it was the key hit for Jim Pensack as he defeated Falgren to make the top 5, and then he went on to watch Girardi carry the key high hit to take the title. And once again, Brian Voss carries the high trip 4 to take a lead of 10 pins.
The winner to meet, Joe Girardi. There's another 10 on that pesky left lane.
What that 10 pin does for Brian Voss is gives this a chance to be a tie match at 258. Voss with a conversion would finish with 258. Steve Wonderlic could strike in the 10th, 11th, and get a 9-pin count in the 12th shot. We'd have a tie.
Brian Voss, the man that has won in Detroit, he's won in Houston, and of course, as we said, the defending champion here. And now, St. Louis Hopes riding on Steve Wonderlic.
Needs 2 strikes and 9 to win, 3 to win, 2 and 9 to tie. Must have this one.
number 5 position has been troublesome. In his 14th year here, Brian Voss, the defending champion, what a match it should be against Joe Girardi. 2:58 for Brian Voss. We'll have the final on Wonderlic. It'll be in the 2:40s, and it'll be Voss going against Girardi. But first, a little time off for this message. The Professional Bowlers Tour is brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil with QSX. By Budweiser, proud sponsor of the 1988 United States Olympic team. This Bud's for you. And by Head & Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Okay, honey.
Can you tell who hasn't had their Kellogg's Bran Flakes?
Hang in there, honey.
Well, some people feel a little sluggish if they're not eating a balanced diet.
Oh, boy, am I sluggish.
Kellogg's are the only Bran Flakes with fiber and a full day supply of iron to help balance your diet. And that's one great way to help fight that sluggish feeling. So maybe you can tell who hasn't had their Kellogg's Bran Flakes.
Great shot, honey.
And who has. Kellogg's Bran Flakes, the fiber and iron cereal.
They used to call me a tomboy. I'd climb these trees in my daddy's groves and eat the oranges fresh picked. I'd come home with orange nails and a sticky chin, and Mom would put me right in the tub. That fresh picked goodness is captured by Tropicana Pure Premium. The other major brands add things to or take things out of their juice. But Pure Premium, the way the rain and the sun make it, is the way you taste it. Tropicana Pure Premium. You just can't pick a better juice.
The performances, the awards, the excitement.
I love you.
The 15th Annual American Music Awards, live Monday.
Action News, tonight at 11 on 7.
Well, we hope you saw the 16 strikes in that first match won by Voss, 258 to Steve Wonderlic's 248, 8 for each bowler. Voss the winner, now going against the experienced, the veteran, last week's winner, Joe Girardi. This is the Quaker State Open, our second match, head-to-head live from Grand Prairie.
And Chris, as you noted, nobody has ever come from the number 5 position to win this tournament. Voss, obviously off to a good start with a 258, has 3 very tough opponents to get through first to win defend his title.
A 7 on the left lane.
A hit that the pros usually carry. They come in with that power and that good wrist action, take that 5-pin and throw it over towards the 7-pin. High percentage hit for pro bowlers, not to be, as Brian Voss opens the first frame, second match.
All right. Spare for Voss, who won the first match over Steve Wonderlic, 258 to 248. Joe Girardi, 33 years old, 7 titles, Firestone, Masters, United States Open. Sliding by, and we have a neat one to shoot at. 1, 2, 4, 10. And this is the tip of the week, though, that we'll see a little bit later.
The 1, 2, 4, 10. What Joe has to do is get the ball to the left side of the head pin, drive the head pin into the 10. It looks pretty close.
So, we start out for Joe Girardi, those tip of the week. But for Girardi, it's that thing you don't want, an open frame.
Especially against an opponent who is as cool and red hot as Brian Voss. But a lot of frames to go. Girardi won last week the AC Delco Classic. And when a player has won a previous tournament, Chris, he's always nice and loose. As you see the 4.5-step delivery of Girardi, shoulder high swing. Look at the position of that left hand as he pulls his left shoulder back, his right shoulder through, follow through, and pretty good shot. He just played the lane wrong.
And didn't get a break on the left lane either, leaving the 7-pin. 32nd television appearance for Joe Girardi.
We talked about the 5-pin going in front of the 7-pin, but the ball enters the 1-3 pocket, drives into the 5, just misses the 7, and Girardi just drills it on the spare shot.
What a week he had last week. Coming from the number 3 position, defeating Mark Roth, Pete Weber, and Walter Ray Williams. Now, there's a handful. Voss looking for his 4th title. 5th make it.
Bachelor Brian Voss. Really, really a well-trained professional bowler. Good style.
Okay. Big strike in the 2nd frame for Brian Voss, who is a sports fan, including college basketball. And if you are, we invite you to join us tomorrow right here on ABC for this doubleheader. Michigan at Indiana, Temple at UNLV. Begins at 2 Eastern and Pacific, 1 Central.
Now Brian Voss to take a 21-pin lead if he can strike.
I believe that's his 4th 10 on the left lane, something like that.
Correct. The 10-pin has just not fallen for Brian Voss. A couple of them were solid 10s. That time he sent the ball a little bit wide. It failed to break at the proper position on the lane, approximately 45 feet down the lane, 15 feet from the head pin. The result is what we call the half 10. Voss been a little bit shaky on the 10-pin covers, but hasn't missed one yet.
Okay. Now, the winner of our 2nd game that you're watching now will go against Mark Roth. Then, the tournament leader, a non-winner named Bob Benoit.
Joe Girardi, good all-around athlete, participated in the ABC Sports Superstars program 1982, did very well. Very strong for a thin young man.
That high hit left him the 6-10 on the right lane.
What's happened to Girardi here in the early going is he was a little bit relaxed. I think that victory last week kind of made him not tuned up or not psyched up enough for today's championship round. He has to get his act together and make the adjustment on this line.
There you see the money winners thus far. This is our 4th telecast, and Emiletta Monticelli, who won, and Joe Girardi, who won last week, and Walter Ray Williams, who seems to be a fixture on our telecasts. Not this week, but Brian's going to add to his total, as, of course, will Wonderlic.
Bob Benoit has not cashed yet. He's our tournament leader.
Oh, satisfying strike in the 4th frame of the left lane for Joe Girardi, trailing by 13 against Brian Voss. More after this.
Why is this man still up with his cold, sniffling through tissue after tissue, losing count of his coughs and sneezes? Why is he wrestling with aches and pains, suffering instead of resting? Why? Because he's been waiting for something new. New cherry-flavored NyQuil. The great tasting, nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. In original or new cherry flavor.
Get bowling with bowling's best at the $200,000 Don Carter's Greater New Orleans Classic next Saturday on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour.
The gentleman from Oil City, Pennsylvania, will be presenting the trophy and the check later. Earl Swift, Vice President of Marketing, and his wife Jerry here, and we're glad that they came here the 12th year that Quaker State has sponsored the event. Leading by 13 with a spare up. This is the 4th frame for the 1st game winner, Brian Voss. The 7, Voss winning the 1st game, 258 to Steve Wonderlic's 248.
The man who caught a lot of good breaks, really, against Steve Wonderlic in the first match, tripping the 4-pin, has made a slight adjustment on the approach to the left to keep his ball a little lighter in the pocket. So far, it hasn't panned out for him. He's left a 7-pin in the 1st frame, 10 in the 3rd, and once again a 7 in the 4th frame.
Just covered the 7-pin. He told us earlier how he made the final 24, and then, matter of qualifying here, for this and all the tournaments.
And here how he got through. He started very slow, 6-game block, in his 18-game qualifiers, qualified 22nd, just snuck into the round, then really charged in the 4th and 5th and 6th rounds of 24-game match play. Now he has a 12-pin lead over Girardi, 5th frame.
And then disaster hit Brian Voss on the left lane. He'll be looking at the 4, 6, 7, 10. Byron, Bo, what do we do here?
Big trouble. He can either go after the 6 and 10 and try to bounce him out of the pit or slide it across. A very tough shot. He'll use extra speed. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh!
Whoa, you know, Chris, I've only seen that made one time. Sam Macarone made it while bowling in the match play finals of Las Vegas tournament 2 weeks ago. He did it by sliding across. I like the way that Brian Voss attacked it, just bouncing it out. But Girardi leads by 4. He gained that lead sitting on the bench, has a strike up in the 4th, can extend his lead to 14 with a strike.
And the boy from Brooklyn leaves the 7-pin looking at his right hand.
A lesson to be learned by what Girardi's going through as you see his action on the right-hand lane. He was light in the first frame on this lane. Then he made the adjustment to the right and went high, leaving the 6-10, moved half the difference, and almost got a strike.
Look at 23 or 24 mile an hour speed when he shoots spares. Good crack 60 feet away when they collide.
Girardi pounding that rosin on his bowling ball. PBA regulations say you must wipe it off. You can leave nothing on the surface of your ball that will increase the roll or come off onto the lane surface. So Girardi, 4-pin lead, 6 frame. See how it works.
There's a mixer that he wanted. Earlier we had a chance to talk to Joe Girardi about his bowling hand.
Well, the only way to alleviate it is to stop bowling, and that's not too lucrative for me. I have to realize that I've actually bowled 2 league seasons in 3 weeks. But because of the friction, the heat, it causes my hand to tear and to rip. So I just have to live with it. I guess you could call it an occupational hazard.
Meanwhile, Brian Voss, shooting in the 6th frame after an open, leaves the 6-10.
With Brian Voss, simply this. He was all pumped up against Steve Wonderlic, has calmed down somewhat, but he's slowed his ball speed down. One of the keys, that we say it every week, is to maintain an even ball speed. Voss was 18 to 19 miles an hour the first game. Now he's slowed down 16, 17. The ball's drifting high on him. Look out. Oh!
Trying to win back-to-back Quaker State Opens. Now he has back-to-back open frames, 92 through 6.
As you see Voss's ball sliding by the 6 and 10 pins, just chipping off the 10-pin. Voss trails by 15. And Brian Voss last night didn't have the luxury of watching the match between Steve Wonderlic and Tom Kreitz on this very pair. Tom Kreitz stuck in that very same spot on lane 40 last night on the approach, fouled, and allowed Wonderlic to come in the top 5. It has happened to Voss here today.
And then to add further misery, Nelson.
Pretty close hit, Chris, but once again, the 4-9 split, an apparent good hit. Now, he was tripping that 4-pin out before, but now he needs to slide that 4 over into the 9 to keep any type of pressure on Joe Girardi.
Three open frames, disastrous for the first game winner, Brian Voss. We'll be back.
You give your all to all you do. Don't settle for less from your shampoo. Wash and go Pert Plus.
Ordinary shampoo can't give you this kind of manageability. You need Pert Plus, with a unique combination of effective shampoo for cleaning, plus conditioner for control, all in one. For great, easy-to-manage hair, it's one of a kind.
Just one shampoo does it all for you. Wash and go.
With shampoo, conditioner in one.
Pert Plus. This month's for all that you
It's
do.
all tied up. Miles, you're in. 110, only 4 seconds left to play. Sanger at the top of the key. Shoot. Over the rim. Miles with the rebound. It's good. A rookie, Kevin Miles. miles. A lot of dreams here, huh?
For everyone who works toward their dream, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood aged Budweiser.
Welcome to professional basketball.
They're slamming and jamming, running and gunning in a college basketball doubleheader. First, Big Ten rivals take the court as Michigan meets the Indiana Hoosiers. Then, undefeated Temple tries to keep the streak alive as they take on the Runnin' Rebels from UNLV. It's a back-to-back jamboree on ABC's college basketball tomorrow.
You're looking at the all-time money winner, Mark Roth, Joe Berardi's roommate. He's on our telecast again.
Third consecutive week for Roth as he warms up on lanes 47 and 8 here at the 60-lane Forum Center. Watch out for Roth. The action slowed down a little bit here in the second match as Voss is going at only a 161 pace, Berardi a 187 pace. Berardi has a 26-pin lead through 6 frames. Can extend to 36 because he has a strike up here in the 6th with an additional strike in the 7th.
Okay. Oh, yeah. A resounding strike. And are we delighted to go back to the Greater New Orleans area next week for the Don Carter Greater New Orleans Open. Well, we haven't done a telecast there since 1978. And I've missed hearing Pete Fountain, believe me.
Aha, your good friend Pete Fountain. Hope he can come out next weekend.
Oh, he will.
I missed the crawfish, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
And the lovely people down there. As you see Berardi coming up in the 8th, 36-pin lead, can extend to 46 pins. He would have a commanding edge over Voss if he can strike here.
Ten-pin on the left lane. Look at that long, hard look. At Debbie's husband, Joe Berardi. Parents of 2 expecting twins, and Debbie, we hope, is resting after a short stay in the hospital this week, Bill.
She had a little virus behind the lungs, I understand. She's got it all straightened out.
Good.
Berardi knew that 10-pin in the 8th frame could have been the coup de grace. Now he has given Voss a chance. Beefcake, as they call him. The centerfold of the PBA Tour needs strikes right here to have any chance.
Boy, he accepts their talent. Brian Voss. You know, you can read body language, facial expressions. Not on Voss. You can Berardi. You can just tell what Berardi's thinking, feeling, but Voss?
Well, Voss, a bachelor, has got 1 bill to pay. Joe Berardi's going to have 6 pretty soon, and that makes a big difference.
In other words, your emotions come out a little more, don't they?
Well, because you reach back and feel your pocketbook first before you throw the ball. Now, Voss needs this strike to stay in the match.
Leaving a 4, left side.
Brian Voss, who has been just a little bit unlucky in this game and kind of a little reciprocity in this game. He got some great breaks against Wonderlic. Has an outside chance, but not much at all, as the best he can shoot is 171.
Okay. And the bowler that loses this game will get 6,500. Steve Wonderlic, who lost to Voss in the first head-to-head match, $5,500. Now, nice foundation strike for Joe Berardi. There's emotions coming out, cheering himself on, and why not?
And with that strike, he assured himself of a victory over Brian Voss. The scoreboard tells the story. Berardi, even with an open frame, would be in the 180s. The best Voss can do is 170. Once again, we're going to have a match like last week, Girardi and Mark Raw.
Roommates, the Brooklyn pair. A 10-pin for the winner of our first game, Joe Berardi, or second game, eliminating Brian Voss. He'll next go against Mark Roth. It's time now for our Old Spice tip for the week. Here it is. Today's Old Spice tip of the week is brought to you by Old Spice Fast Track Wide Deodorant. It blocks odor better.
The 1, 2, 4, and 10 pins, better known as the washout.
Now, normally when we leave the head pin standing, we move 5 boards to the right on the approach and use the same strike target out at the arrows. But the 10 pin adds a new dimension. You have to get the head pin over to knock out the 10 pin, so you need more angle of attack to throw the head pin towards the 10 pin. So instead of moving 5 boards on the approach, you move 7 boards to the right on the approach from your original strike stance. Watch this.
Now let Bo help you score even more. You'll also fix problems, improve strategy, and practice smarter with Bo Burton's new bowling video.
This video is for you.
ABC Sports and Old Spice bring you Bo Burton's new instructional video, Score More. Just $24.98 plus $3 shipping. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
It's more effective than the leading men's deodorant. It's been proven better in clinical tests at blocking odor. It's Old Spice Fast Track Wide Deodorant. It blocks odor better.
With 5 strikes in the second match, Joe Girardi, last week's winner of the AC Delco Classic, eliminates the defending champion, Brian Voss, by a score of 196 to 171. 5 finalists out of a field of 160, Nelson.
42 games, the average for everybody. The 160 players, 204. Top 24, 213. And last place in the cash was David Sill. He picked up $1,010 for 53rd. Walter Ray Williams Jr. extended his streak as he picked up $1,020. And here's some of the other 24 finishers. Tom Baker backstroking well. An amateur Ray Perez. National champion Randy Peterson and Kreitz up there. Del Warren a good week. Anderson, the top left-handed finisher in the last 6 weeks. They've struggled. There's a Purdue player, Chris, Jeff Miller. Harold Sullivan's Warren. Sam Macarone, the man who made the 4, 6, 7, 10 in the showboat. And some of the other top players, as you see, Frank Ellenberg, Masters champion. Bellinger and Joe Furpo, a doubles champion, round out the 24.
We look at that Dallas skyline. Time for the Ask Bo question. Here it is. How do you become an associate member of the Professional Bowlers Association, Nelson?
For the people at home, it's very simple. You just send $30 or check to the PBA, Post Office Box 5118, Akron, Ohio, zip 44313. And there are many benefits of being a member. You get, and here they are. The tour schedule, some of the other things, tour bag. I think one thing people would really like is the updated Pro-Am information and the PBA newsletter. So on and so forth. So if you want to be a PBA member or associate member, write in any other questions. So you can write to me at Ask Bo, Post Office Box 217, Ansonia Station, New York 10023.
Tell me, Bo, do you go there and pick up your mail?
We send a truck as we have the
Oh,
hostess
there's a Texas lady. Our
Halsey,
hostess.
Proprietress here at the Forum Bowling Lanes for the 12th Quaker State Open. And here's a man who's had a fantastic record in that. Mark Roth coming up here in this semifinal match against his roommate, Joe Girardi.
High five. And here they go. I mentioned that for Joe Girardi, 32nd television appearance in the finals. Trying to win back-to-back after last week. Well, he put it on his roommate early. Now, when you consider all the telecasts, this is his 119th television appearance. What a record.
I believe the greatest natural ability ever to step on the approach. Mark Roth.
Left with the 7-pin on the right lane, the winner of 33 PBA titles.
The familiar profile of Mark Roth. 2, 3, look at those steps. 4, 5, 6, 7-step delivery today. The powerful wrist action, very little turn, good accuracy arm swing, and just that great natural ability. Nice loose swing, powerful legs.
And the man that won here 10 years ago has just blown first frame, missing the 7th.
Unusual for Mark Roth as he queries what happened on that lane. You see the ball sliding right down the middle instead of taking that familiar break that he's used to and covering the 7-pin. And needless to say, I would say one of the greatest spare makers in the game. You don't get to be the top, leaving many open frames, but Roth has done it right here. Let's see if that unsettles him, the experienced player, or he steps back and really cranks up that strike ball.
Well, in this case, on the left lane, he has left the 2-4 and a look of concern on his face. Let's watch the pin fall again on that last shot.
Roth, as he's quickly up on the approach, getting ready to shoot the 2 and 4 pins, just slides by the head pin, the left-hand lane. He'll just throw a rocket straight at the 2-pin, drive them both back.
Okay. So an open first frame, a spare in the second. Girardi with a strike in the first, leading by 11 can increase it. Next here on ABC, the Bud Light Ironman Triathlon World Championship from Kona, Hawaii.
Amazing. 140 miles of running, swimming, and biking. Now, here's a man who's in pretty good physical shape himself, Joe Girardi.
Not too much luck on that shot, leaving the 7-pin. And the athlete of the week, the name, the winner will be announced on Wide World that follows. The 1-2 punch of ABC, Pro Bowlers Tour and Wide World.
Roth, let's see if he went to school on Girardi's, Girardi on Roth's 7-pin. He drove it right across the lane. We're seeing something that we've seen the last few weeks in the championship round of the Professional Bowlers Tour. The players starting to come up light in the pocket as we go farther on through the telecast. And what is simply happening is the oil, which is laid down on the lane surface by the PBA lane maintenance crew, is being carried a little bit farther down the lane by the action of the bowling balls rolling down, and makes it harder to get that sharp break on the pocket. What a player needs to go is hard and straight right towards the 1-3. Just like that.
Like that. Joe Girardi using a couple of bowling balls here in his quest for a back-to-back title. But now Mark Roth, spare up, shooting in the third.
Once again, coming in light. We saw Roth come in light, leave a 7-pin in the first frame as the ball slides by, leaving the 2, 4, and 5 pins. He had a 2-4 combination in the second, 2, 4, 5 here in the third. He needs to make one of two type of adjustments. One, either slow the ball speed down or move slightly to the right on the approach.
Mark Roth, winner of the Young Memorial Award for High Average, 5 years, including a record over 222. The average leaders here in 88.
Roth off to a tremendous start. He does hold the all-time record at over 220, around 221 for 36 tournaments in the season. Walter Ray and some of the other top 5 players, but Roth's not worried about average right now. He needs some money. He needs to get some strikes right now.
We're in our third match, the semifinal. More of it after this.
I'm home. Hi, Mom.
Is your brother home yet?
He's upstairs. He says he feels yucky.
Bobby?
He ate a bunch of junk after school. The kid eats like a maniac. Oh, I feel yucky.
I've got just what you need.
Here it comes. The soothing relief of Pepto-Bismol. The one that coats is the only one you need.
Feeling better?
What time's dinner? Maniac.
Over 140 miles of pushing the body to the wall. The Bud Light Ironman Triathlon World Championship on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Next.
There he is from Roanoke, Texas, living golf legend Byron Nelson. And we're delighted, Nelson, ABC, and his wife, Peggy. We're delighted that we're going to, again, be televising the Byron Nelson Classic the second week in May.
That will be an excellent tournament as usual. You know, Chris, the bowling has been in the doldrums for the last, let's say, 15 minutes as we saw Girardi and Voss struggle through that second game. Now, as we get ready to start the halfway point of the semifinal match. We're watching Girardi wait for a re-rack. I believe the action's ready to pick up. You always see in match play a little bit of slow time, but now the time is now to throw strikes. Spares will not win any more matches. Girardi leads by 14, has a strike up in the third, can extend his lead to 24 over Roth with an additional strike. Here we go.
And there is a high hit. And the result, the 3-6-7-10.
Too fancy. What he has to do is get the ball over here in the 3-6 zone, slide that 3-pin over into the 7, and convert that spare in order to maintain his lead.
Okay. Well, he did your tip from the other side, Bo. Our peekaboo look at...
Great shot by Girardi. The 3-pin goes right into the 7-pin, drives it down, maintains the lead over Roth, keeps the pressure on. Now he's up on the lane he's had so much success with. Lane 39 here at Forum.
Leaves the bucket on the left lane, 2, 4, 5, 8.
Girardi nice and relaxed, and sometimes that can be actually debilitating or self-defeating out there on the lanes. He won the tournament last week. He was all amped up. Now he's trying to have a little bit too much finesse. You have to charge in these one-game matches. You never can let an opponent lie down.
And Joe was the third seed last week when he won the tournament, as was Alberto Monticelli before him. Between these two boys from Brooklyn, they have never been worse than 11th in 4 tournaments. That double. Really, we had a chance to ask Mark what he had to guard against in order to advance a little better than last week.
I'd have to say keep my speed consistent and try not turning the ball early. When I turn the ball early, the ball hooks early, or if I make an adjustment, I get wide and leave a washout. I just have to be consistent and stay loose and go out and make good shots today.
Okay, he's on the left lane now. Double up. 6 frame. And the lead changes now. It's Roth by 10 pins.
Little roommate courtesy there by Roth, too. I've bowled Mark Roth many a times and watched him in the championship round. When he gets ahead of a player like that and throws that additional strike, he usually lets the other player know about it. He just sat down that time. Little courtesy to Girardi here in the early going.
Went, leaving only the 4 for Girardi in the 6th frame.
Joe Girardi once told Mark Roth, I'll say 5 or 6 years ago, a conversation I overheard. He says, Mark, when you slow down, I'm taking over. And this match may have a little more connotation to it than we believe.
Speed on that spare shot was 24 miles an hour.
Young man who turned pro at the age of 18. I had the luxury of eating one of my first real Italian dinners when his mother and father had me over their house in Brooklyn. And Chris, I can wonder how Joe can stay that slim style with the true palatial layout they put at them on the table.
Pasta's good for you. That's what Francesca tells me every week. Oh, no. Well, the 710, which his roommate once made.
Girardi hits light in the pocket. The 5-pin will go behind the 7-pin. Here's the ball, hits the 1-3 and drives the 5-pin right there. It got cut off, went in front of the 7. You want to see a legitimate shot at the 710. Watch Girardi. 25 miles an hour rocket.
On the button, our jugged speed gun, 25 miles an hour. But it's an open frame and a 24-pin lead for Mark Roth.
U.S. ski team member Felix McGrath talks about Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine.
It's such a relief to be able to go out on the hill and to not have to worry about a runny nose, being congested, having aches and pains.
Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine really works.
Every day I miss training is taking away level of performance. As an athlete, you're always on the edge of getting sick.
Alka-Seltzer Plus. Fast, effective relief for tough winter colds.
It's been excellent for me.
Try new Alka-Seltzer Plus nighttime cold medicine to relieve your cold at night.
Get rolling with bowling's best at the $200,000 Don Carter Greater New Orleans Classic next Saturday on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour.
One of our favorite trios anywhere, from left to right. Founder of the PBA, Eddie Elias. President of ABC Sports, Dennis Swanson, and his wife, Kathy. Glad to have them in Grand Prairie, Texas.
And here's what is happening on the lanes as you watch Berardi's last two balls. First place, the oil is applied to the lane to about here. As we watch Berardi's ball go down the right-hand lane, it'll come in a little bit high. As the oil carries down the lane even farther, this area is beginning slick down here. Berardi's ball goes high. Now he makes the adjustment over here on this lane. Remember again, the oil pattern is down this far. This lane he hopes is going to break a little more. It doesn't as the ball slides by the head pin, and he ends up light. Now, earlier those moves worked. Right now, they're not working for Girardi. Roth has made the adjustments, has 24-pin lead, 7th frame, 3 strikes in a row.
Pin on the right lane. We mentioned earlier that he'd won 33 titles. He's had 28 seconds, 30 thirds, 15 fourths, 13 fifths.
Wow. And his record here, 7 times in the championship round. He has 1 win, 2 seconds, 3 thirds. And his destiny today is still undetermined.
And the man in golf that has those kind of statistics is right here. 11 tournaments in a row, 18 in 1 year, Byron Nelson.
Great man. I'm impressed by his hand strength, Chris. And he's a Texan. I was sired by a Texan who has the same kind of hand strength. Every time I see Byron Nelson, he shakes my hand. I sends my mind back home to my dad, who I'm sure is watching this. But right now, here's another of the greatest bowlers of all time, has a 23-pin lead. Mark Roth, 8th frame.
Okay, last year inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame, and Nelson mentioned his dad. It's the only father-son combination in the ABC Hall of Fame. Nelson Sr. and Jr.
Thank you, Chris, and congratulations to you, as you will be inducted into the American Bowling Congress Hall of Fame later in the year in Florida.
I should add, not as a player.
Girardi in a must situation.
Ooh. Remember, Girardi won the AC Delco Classic last week, but this is the Quaker State Open. And those people from Oil City, Pennsylvania, like Bill Petralia, his wife Carol, and their whole staff, they've really mixed beautifully with Jeannie Halsey and the folks at Grand Prairie to make it fun for the pros and the 2,000 participants in the Pro-Am.
That's for sure. As Girardi switches to another ball in the left-hand lane, he's using 1 ball in the left-hand lane, 1 on the right, and he must strike here to stay close in the match.
Wonderful clutch performances here by Joe Girardi. Now 13 pins separating these two close friends.
Girardi just drills all 10 pins in the pit. They could have been tree trunks and he'd have knocked them down. Good lift, high, solid hit. See how Roth reacts. What has made Roth so great is his ability to keep the pressure on his opponent in match play. He only leads by 13, 9th frame.
You know, you lose this particular match and you go home with a check for $8,000, but if you can go on and win the next game, you win $27,000. A big doubleheader live coast to coast on ABC starting at 2 Eastern, Michigan at Indiana, Temple, UNLV. That's tomorrow.
Roth up in the 10th frame, 2 strikes working, could close the door on Girardi and go ahead to meet Bob Benoit, the tournament leader. It's down to the last frame. Let's see what Roth does.
Well, Joe Girardi last week had those Brooklyns. So Mark gets one here in the 10th.
Nobody will ever call Mark Roth stupid as he watched Girardi take the championship last week with 5 crossovers. Once again, Roth gets a great break and is the undoing of Girardi as Roth catches the break, which will send him in the championship match against Bob Benoit. Joe didn't like that. I don't blame him.
Looking for another and is left with the 310, and Joe shakes his pal's hand. Mark Roth has one more chance for his 34th title against Bob Benoit. That'll be coming up, of course. Roth will be in the 220s. So we've had Voss winning a match. We've had Girardi, and we have a split conversion by the great Mark Roth. A 223, and we'll have Girardi's final score when we come back for the championship match of the Quaker State Open.
This man once had a heart attack. Since then, his doctor prescribed exercise, the right foods, and aspirin. Studies show aspirin can help prevent second heart attacks. Ask your doctor about aspirin. Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders.
I can't breathe.
Before and Afrin.
Better.
What Afrin does in 5 minutes takes Sudafed over an hour.
Blocked.
Before and Afrin.
Unblocked.
It's the #1 recommended nasal spray.
My dandruff shampoo is good.
Better try something else. Mine really works.
You'd better try something else, like Selsun Blue. Doctors recommend it more than all of the leading brands. None get rid of dandruff better than Selsun Blue.
When you take Tums, you're getting an extra-strength heartburn medicine. It's a lot stronger than the #2 brand. That's good. But Carol tells me Tums also gives us extra calcium. That's even better.
On the Disney Sunday movie, Sally, behind you! An alien attack threatens the mission to save the Earth. Now, the conclusion of Earth Star.
So, if you follow these tips, you'll see your bowling scores improve in no time. Any questions?
About your shoes. They're Lynn's, right?
Right. The Pro Tour leader.
Expensive?
Not these. Now there's a Lynn shoe for you. The Championship Series. Same quality construction, fit, and feel as a Lynn Classic, but at a lower price. The Championship Series. 50 years worth of Lynn's know-how in a mid-price shoe. Get into Lynn's. The Pro Tour leader.
Lynn's, available at your local pro shop.
Moonstruck's outrageous star Cher on the next entertainment this week.
Yes, my friends, there are 60 lanes here at the Forum, a chandelier for each pair, so it figures that there are 30 of those beauties. This is Grand Prairie. Next week, Harvey, Louisiana, and we're delighted to go back for the Don Carter Greater New Orleans Open. That's next week, 2 weeks from today, to Venice, Florida, the Bowler's Journal Florida Open. And then across the state to Miami for the Miami Classic. That's February 13th. And that's the day the Olympics begin here on ABC, and Mark Roth, an Olympian in bowling for sure, just eliminated his roommate 223 to 212 with 6 strikes.
And Chris, a man who has never been tested in the championship round on the Professional Bowlers Tour, going against bowling's greatest star, Mark Roth. Bob Benoit stayed right near the top all the way, and he has chosen to let Roth start the match. That means Roth will throw the last ball if there's one shot to be thrown for the money. So here we go, championship round, 12th Quaker State Open.
$41,000 at stake in this one head-to-head match in Grand Prairie. Roth, first frame. Now, let's learn more about Bob Benoit. He's 33 years old, now living in Topeka, Kansas. Former Dallas resident, said he'd like to come back to the Big D. And he's back this week in bowling for sure. Tournament leader, first shot. Capacity crowd here at the Forum Lanes.
Watch the profile and the 5-step full approach delivery of Bob Benoit. Look at him roll that ball back on the wrist, much like Jimmy Keith, who we saw last year a couple times in the championship round. Then release that wrist underneath the ball. That's what initiates the tremendous hook power that has made Benoit so successful in his comeback. He didn't have that type of shot when he came out here in the early 80s. He was a straight ball player. And on this championship pair, 2 games on it,
During competition, he had 245 and 241, by far the best of the 5 on this pair.
I wonder if he surprised Roth coming out that aggressively in his first championship round. I think this guy is unshakable, though. Look at those eyes. He knows how to throw strikes.
Like that. They're all even after 2 frames.
Mark Roth, power player, going against another young, blossoming, not really young, a newcomer to the tour, Bob Benoit, another power player. Roth does it with just tremendous snap and not as much hook. Bob Benoit has a real good smooth roll. As you see Roth's reaction to that strike, one of many in his career. As I said, Benoit throws the big hook ball type of power. So here the match is all even. 3rd frame.
Leaving a forfeit, this man in his 3rd television appearance. Previous 2, finished 2nd, finished 4th. Now he has a chance to finish 1st. But he's against Bob Benoit, the tournament leader. Roth led for the first few rounds of this Quaker State Open. So now we get a look at Benoit, averaged 222, 42 games. Final 24 games, he won 19 and lost 5. Last night, 7 of 8.
He backed off for no one. Everybody said he'd falter, and then they predicted today that he would bend under the pressure of Roth, but he hasn't so far.
And this 33-year-old has a 3-bagger. Good numbers for Bob Benoit.
Watch how Bob Benoit holds that ball. He just rolls it back on his wrist. He used to be a straight ball player where he held his wrist flat. He started practicing with a light ball so he could do that, and he still only uses a 15-pound ball, Chris. I have not seen any pros been successful, especially right-handers on the Pro Tour with a 15-pound ball. Some of the left-handers have tried it. Mike Albee tried it, and Dave Davis, 2 of the great lefties, have tried it, but they could play a little bit more outside angle. Benoit doing it on the right side is just amazing. He has so much, a big hook.
And a professional that's 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighs 130 pounds has 4 in a row in the title game.
Users of nasal sprays invariably encounter the same problem.
Warm voice.
Sprays that roll out of their nose or drip back into their throat. To avoid this, they'll do just about anything. But now there's new Sinex Ultrafine Mist. Its medicine doesn't roll out or drip back. It goes up and stays up, and that makes it better. So try new Sinex Ultrafine Mist. It goes up and stays up. From Vicks, of course.
Mark Roth, 18-year professional with 33 titles. Spare up, shooting in the 4th. Oh, he needed that to stay close. Because his opponent has opened with a 4-bagger.
The championship pair been very evenly distributed in the strikes. Look at lane 39 through 3 games, or 3.5 games now as we've gone through 4 frames. Lane 40, 25 strikes, spares equal, and open frames equal. So a well-balanced pair, although the left-hand lane hooks a little bit more. Roth has been around the pocket all 4 shots. He has 3 strikes, but Benoit, his opponent, has been perfect so far.
Roth, who eliminated Joe Girardi, last week's winner, now has answered back with a double and now trails by only 11, but that can change because Benoit has 4 in a row, shooting in the 5th.
Bob Benoit, who relinquished himself to regional play, won 3 regional championships in the last couple of years, Corpus Christi, Texas, Denison, Texas, and McAllen, but this is his first chance at a national title.
And now he has 5. The tournament leader. And earlier we asked him if he felt he had an edge going into the title game.
Well, I think with the hometown crowd pulling for me here, since I used to bowl league in this house, that'll help considerably. But I kind of look at it this way. I've got a 50-50 chance of winning, and I've got nothing to lose, so I'm just going to go for broke.
Bob Benoit, who lived here for 11 years, bowled league in this house, Chris. What a way to go for broke. He's perfect through 5.
If he can get 6 more, True Value Hardware will be happy to present him with a $100,000 check. As you're looking at Susan Benoit, little lady from Topeka, and that is not thinking about that, I'm sure, but if it would, what pressure that is. 100,000.
No doubt. He still has to get by this man. This match is long from over.
Double up. He shot a 223 with 6 strikes against Girardi's 212. 223, 212.
You know, the keys to shooting a big game sometimes, Chris, are somebody making you or pulling you along like a pacer in a mile race. Roth right now is the pacer for Benoit. He's perfect, but don't count Roth out. 5 out of 6 strikes. Can cut the lead of Benoit's down to 11 with a strike here.
Remarkable. Unshakable, Mark Roth.
And I'll tell you, as an opponent, you don't like to see a guy come up and throw a shot like this. This is a ripper. He hits the 5-pin right in the face, drives it over into the 7, has cut the lead of Benoit's, even though he's perfect, down to just 11 pins through 6 frames.
And for Benoit, he has reached the 7th frame. Seven in a row. Thing of beauty to watch perfection.
Look out for a guy down on one knee. You can just bet that's a good tip-off that a player thinks he's throwing a good shot. When you see him walking left or right, or those eyeballs opening up a little too big, you know he may have a problem. But when they're down on one knee, you can bet it's close. Scoreboard tells the story.
Ed Blanco of True Value back in Chicago. Hope he's watching. I'd be delighted to give away another 100. Now Mark Roth, 4-bagger, shooting in the 8th frame. 129 through the 5th. Look up the split, leaving the 10-pin.
Roth coming up high, Chris, as you said, almost leaves the 4, 7, and 10 pins. Gets the break. Still stays in the match. Hey, don't count this match out.
A smooth release. Mark Roth and covering the 10-pin, marking with the spare in the 8th. We are in our final game. This man has 8 in a row.
Mark Roth said he would like to get home tomorrow to watch his daughter Stephanie in her skating exhibition, but if he'd happen to win this, he'd have to stay over the Petroleum Club and host a champions banquet tonight. But the way Benoit's going, if Roth doesn't get another strike here, he won't have to worry about that banquet. He has a potential 258, though, 9th frame.
Stephanie having a real big test in the figures portion of advancing in figure skating competition. We wish her well.
Bob Benoit being tested. I think the test is over. He's proven that he has the mettle to be a professional bowler. Now let's see if he can have bowling immortality. He's only 4 strikes away from his first title and a perfect game. Chris, this strike locks up the title. He cannot lose the title no matter what Roth does. 258 will not be enough to win. Now it's just a matter of can he take all the money. A possible $127,000 paycheck in his first appearance. 10th frame.
So solid. But he needs only 2 more. Oh, the furrows in his brow are getting deeper. But I think his shot's even getting better, if that's possible.
You're absolutely correct, Chris. A lot of people said to me, this young man will choke. I says, don't count out these tough young guys. There's probably been whipped around a schoolyard by some bully sometime, but put a bowling ball in his hand and look out. He's Superman. He's got 10 in a row.
Susan. Oh, the pressure on this sweet blonde. Tears in her eyes. And if this doesn't get your heart pumping, I doubt if there's much that will. 1 to go for 100,000 smackers.
This is where years of practice come into play. There's really not much you can think about. It's all natural ability. Keep your eyes on your target and hope the dear Lord wants you to have it.
Here it is.
Everybody on the approach. What a scene set as his wife Susan hugs him. And with the man who has just won his first title is my partner, Chris Schenkel. Take it away, Chris.
My goodness, young man, Bob Benoit. First title, first $100,000, I know.
Oh, I don't know what to say. I'm just ecstatic here. I don't understand what's going on, but whatever it is, I hope it doesn't ever leave me.
Those shots were absolutely beautiful that you laid in there.
Oh, thank you. I was so nervous with the last 4 to go. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to stand up.
You had your family, a lot of your family here rooting for you. I know that was a lot of fortification to keep a fellow skinny guy going.
I don't know. I used to bowl league here, and I used to live in Dallas, and it was great. Winning my first title here and shooting 300 on TV, I couldn't ask for a better place.
You gave a thrill to me. In a few months, we've had a couple of these now. And Dennis Swanson, the president of ABC Sports, has something in his hand that is going to maybe make you speechless. Dennis?
Bob, on behalf of Ed Langto and True Value, we've got a $100,000 check to give you here. I'm glad I was in Dallas to be here with him. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
When do you think you'll come back to Earth?
I'm not sure if I'll ever come back to Earth.
There you are, young man.
Oh, thank you.
You know, Wayne Webb against Pete McCartick had a big game, and so did the great Mark Roth against you. Do you have a final comment?
Oh, anytime you can beat Mark Roth, you've done something. In my opinion, he's the greatest bowler in the world, and I happen to have everything falling my way tonight.
Well, this is your week. Right now, you're the greatest.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to thank True Value and Jeannie Halsey and Randy Halsey and all the fans that were here this week to help me and get me through.
Okay, we're going to take a break.
I'm the Quaker State.
We'll be back here in about a minute. Bob Benoit, perfect 300-game shooter. We'll be back. The Professional Bowlers Tour is brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil with QSX and by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
You are about to see the smartest oil change you can make. Introducing a new Quaker State motor oil. Now Quaker State has a revolutionary formula called QSX. QSX fights engine choking sludge better than other leading oils to keep oil flowing to vital engine parts. For a cleaner, longer-lasting engine, change your oil. Really change your oil to new Quaker State with QSX, the smartest oil change you can make.
Thanks again, boys, and keep the change. You hear all this nonsense about Kellogg's Frosted Flakes being just for kids. Well, I, for one, eat them, and I'm going to go right on eating them. Frosted Flakes just for kids, come on. Like we adults have to go sneaking around, like we can't love these crisp, sweet flakes just as much as kids. Who is it?
You just have to admit it. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
This buzz for all the
Papers say you busted it up pretty good. This is where we start.
You got a long road back. You missed the cheers. Can you beat those doubts and fears? You make America work.
For that something that won't let us quit, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser.
To your first game back.
This buzz for you.
Over 140 miles of pushing the body to the wall. The Bud Light Ironman Triathlon World Championship on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Next.
Look at this whopping score. A perfect 300, Bob Benoit. Mark Roth, 255. We hope you saw the entire game of this 33-year-old Bob Benoit. Now, you've had a couple of minutes to think about it. Is there anything special that's come into that wonderful mind of yours?
Well, for one thing, I'd like to thank Quaker State and Earl Swift for sponsoring this tournament, and I'm looking forward to come back here next year.
Two or three ladies off to your right there, Susan and your daughter, and Jeannie Halsey, of course, the proprietors here, none better. And Dennis Swanson gave you a true value of $100,000. Earl Swift, Vice President of Marketing of Quaker State Oil and Refining in Oil City, Pennsylvania. Earl, this is your first. You made it big.
Well, I told Dennis Swanson that he and I may have had something to do with this. And Bob, on behalf of Quaker State, our very best congratulations. We enjoyed being here.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Professional Bowlers Tour was produced by Peter Lasser, directed by Bill Webb, technical director Les Weiss. Now this is Chris Schenkel along with Nelson Burton Jr. saying so long from Grand Prairie, Texas. Coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, athletes swim, bike, and run over 140 miles in the granddaddy of all endurance events, the Bud Light Ironman Triathlon World Championship. And tomorrow, ABC's college basketball presents doubleheader action as Michigan meets Indiana and Temple takes on UNLV. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports. Once again, the winner with a perfect 300 game, Bob Benoit, 300 to Mark Roth, 255. What a day.
A promotional fee has been paid to ABC by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
January Learner of the Month, Duke Ferguson.
I graduated from high school, unable to read or write. I continued through pro football, and when I got out, to enlist tutors to make sure I stayed on top of my skills I had acquired. 10 years ago, Harvard Business School is the most unlikely place for Duke Ferguson to be. I'm happy here because I'm learning. I think once a person ceases to learn, he ceases or she ceases to live.
It's never too late.